it's very important. It's your duty to continue to debate this issue. Why there is no unity among the Muslims? Why there is unity among the Europeans, who have different languages, different culture, different tradition, even different religion, and they are united. Why? Why not we? We have more things in common as a Muslim nation than they have, than any other nation in this world. There was a time, the first week, the viewers were decreasing because CNN and BBC as well, they were providing one narrative, the Israeli narrative. And the people saw something else on the social media thanks to the social media. So they were switching to other channels. Then, after that, the BBC as well as the CNN, they try to be balanced and present the other narrative also. So this is how you are able to force people or force institution who goes blindly behind Israel to change their position. Again, it's a price to be paid. And the Palestinians, I think they're willing to pay price. Because Palestinians are being paying price since 1948, even before, since the British came to Palestine in 1914 after they won the First World War, we are under occupation. But most of the prices, most of the people who were killed, more than 150 or 200,000 people, almost for nothing, no results. But today, okay, the proportion is very high. We have 26,000 today, and we have still 10 to 12,000 under the rubble, which we don't know there. Well, we all know that finally they cannot live under rubble for about 2 months. So we consider them shuhada. So we have 36 to 38 people, 1,000 people died, 65,000, 66,000 injured. And still the massacres is going on. Israel enjoyed impunity from 1948 till the International Court of Justice passed its sentence, then sent a clear message that you, the state of Israel, will no more enjoy this impunity. You commit a crime, you pay for it, just like any other. Because the court itself, the reputation of the court was at stake. It had to take a decision. South Africa presented a very clear and strong lawsuit, evidence, video footage, statements by officials of Israeli officials, and so on. So there was no way, no chance for any judge who would say no to the evidence presented by the South African. And also we have to admit that Bangladesh also were the second to join this. This was also a courageous move from the Bangladeshi government, which we highly appreciate. I think you all read all the 6 points of the ICJ. 4 out of 6 indirectly admit that Israel committed crimes and genocide, indirectly. 2 were about civilians and humanitarian issue and so on. You can tell by, if you know that there was 2 judges added to the ICJ, one from Israel, one from South Africa. So there were total 17 judges. Now, if you realize that 2 points, the Israeli judge in favor of those 2 points, and the other 4 points he was against. So you should know that all the 4 points, because it does condemn Israel indirectly of committing the genocide. And the other 2 points he was in favor, the other 4 he was against. But all the original, out of the 15 members of the court's judges, 14 were in favor, except one who get, I'm sure, a good price. She received a good amount of money, and then she voted. Even she was more Israeli than the Israeli judge. She voted against all 6. And anyway, her country rejected her ruling and rejected her position, which is very good of Uganda to do that. For us as a Palestinian now, the Palestinian issue is becoming on the top agenda of the world. They say, why the 7th of October? Well, everybody knows why the 7th of October happened. If Mr. Biden did his homework well, as he promised during his election time, but he did nothing for 3 years, nothing at all. If he worked as hard as he's doing today, working hard to establish an independent Palestinian state, if he did that, the 7th of October wouldn't have happened. If the international community really worked for the solution of the Palestinian issue, the problem, the 7th of October, wouldn't have happened, and we wouldn't have lost so many people. So it's their hand. The blood of those people are in their hand, in their responsibility. This should be clear. The problem we're facing today is that we all are a hostage of the American administration. Why? Today, Mr. Biden are doing his best to solve the problem. To solve the problem according to the wish of the international community, or what's so-called the international community, two-state solution. Later I will explain what does two-state solution mean. But let's say if Mr. Biden succeeded, it will take 2, 3, 4 years. If he did succeed, and then someone else comes to power in the White House, then what happens to us? Everything will go fade, especially if the man we all don't wish that he will come back to White House, Mr. Trump, because he has a different opinion, different views upon this issue. He's the closest friend to Mr. Netanyahu, and his favorite nation is Israel, and so on. So what will happen to the Palestinians? Can you imagine that 15 million people are hostage in the hand of one man? Is it true? Yes. Why? Because we as a Muslim nation are extremely weak and divided. We are 2 billion, the biggest in the world. Muslims, China, India. We are the biggest consumers in the world. So everybody needs us. All the industrial countries need to sell their products to us. Are we willing to use this power in favor of the interest of our people? Not only in Palestine, in all the Muslim countries. I think you as a journalist have hand in this one. Maybe nobody ever accused you, but I am going to accuse you. It is very... From where does the people get the knowledge and experience? From you, right? We get basic from schools and universities. But then later on, You are the people who give us the knowledge. We plan our structure, our strategy upon your information, the information you provide us. I'm not talking about Palestinian issue, no. I'm talking about all the general issue, all the important issue, which really affect in our daily life as a Muslim nation, not as a Bangladeshi, Indian, Bangladeshi or Indonesia or Pakistani or whatever. As a Muslim, as a whole. I know people from press, they run after hot issues. But believe me, this is very hot. You can make it hot issue. Talk about it. It's very important. It's your duty to continue to debate this issue. Why there is no unity among the Muslims? Why there is unity among the Europeans, who have different languages, different culture, different tradition, even different religion, and they are united. Why? Why not we? We have more things in common as a Muslim nation than they have, than any other nation in this world. The structure is there for us, it's ready. We just need to build upon. But they built from scratch. We have to think about this. If we have this unity, then automatically you don't have a Palestinian issue, you don't have a Palestinian problem, you don't have Palestinian dying every day. I'm sure when you see what's happening in Palestine, it pains you, it pains your heart, your family, your neighbors, you feel that you're less human than others. Palestinian state means 22% of the Palestine, the historical Palestine. Is that fair? No. In 1947, when the United Nations decided the partition of Palestine, two states, one Jewish state and one Arab state, they gave the Jews 55% and they gave the Arab 45% of the land. Israel in 1948 occupied 78% of the country and established Israel on 78% and left 22%, in which Israel again occupied in 1967, 19 years later. And yet, for the sake of peace, Palestinians said, fine, we'll accept 22%, which is 6,000 square kilometer West Bank, including Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, and 363 kilometers, which is a little bit bigger than Dhaka. This is Gaza Strip, a little bit wider, maybe 60 kilometers bigger than Dhaka. This is Gaza Strip. Except for how many people? For 15 million Palestinian people. And yet, the other 78% goes to the 5.6 million Jews. See how the equation is, see how this fairness, because they are powerful, and we are weaker. Okay. Yet, from the 22%, now they control 42% of the West Bank. Settlements and so on, military base. So what's left of Palestine? 12%. Can we build a state at 12% of our country? Personally, I don't think so. That's why I said it before, I'll say it again. and again and again, and I will keep saying it. I believe because Israel are not willing to give the 22% to the Palestinians, so the only other solution is one-state solution. One-state solution. Palestine, historical Palestine is 27,000 square kilometers. We have rivers, we have the Mediterranean Sea, we have the Dead Sea, we have good land. We can live all together. Isn't it the Western ideology, culture, talk about equality among nations, equality among religion, color, whatever, human rights and so on? Okay, fine. We want to put that into effect, into action. Let us live. You, Jewish, we, the Muslim and the Christian, together in this land as an equal citizen in democratic rule. Majority runs minorities. Would you accept that? This is the question. I think if you ask this question to any of the Western world, they don't have answers. Oh, you can hear this thing, oh no, but they don't have answers because they want. This is what you're saying. People doesn't decide you were born Bangladeshi, you were born Palestinian, you were born this, that. We're all born and we find ourselves. So we are equal. So why don't we live as equal citizens? One land. You said you were here, okay, fine. You were most welcome. We were also here. So we live together. We live together. Instead of paying tens of billions of dollars for securities and for military, we'll be spending those billions of dollars on infrastructure. We'll provide our people, our citizens, with prosperities. Why not? This is the question I put. Maybe this is not what, it was not admitted by our government, but I believe if this was proposed to our government, I don't think anyone will reject it. None. Now finally I wanted to express my appreciation for the people of Bangladesh. Not because I am the Palestinian ambassador in Bangladesh, but because what I have seen. I served in 11 countries before. And Bangladesh, I think it will be the last or the one before the last before I retired. I have never felt home in my life like I felt in Bangladesh, because I had never been home actually. I lived all my life as a refugee, but I really felt I'm not a refugee in Bangladesh. I live between my brothers and sisters, my family, my home, and I'm really proud of that. And this is one of the reasons that I've been 9 years in your country. The support that we have received from the people of Bangladesh, the poor and the rich, all sorts of people in Bangladesh is tremendous, it's amazing. It's something that we will record in our history. It will always be there. I go back a little bit to the ICG. The ICG is extremely important. The provision, the 6 provisions, is very, very, very important, and we should build on that. Yesterday, I think you read the papers and you've seen the news, 30 bodies were found in Palestine, in Gaza Strip, under rubble, with their, they folded their eyes and they tied their hands and they leg and they put them in bag, and they died. They were taken hostages by the Israeli army, and that's the result. This all will go to the ICJ as a proof of that Israel did commit a genocide. Well, everybody knows that Israel did that. But because the ICJ is worried about the veto in the Security Council, they did not directly say it. Because they said it related to the Russian issue, Russian-Ukraine. And the Russian did not commit even 5% of what Israel did.